so early on.
Were the Giants trying to maybe set a physical platform against what has been a busted up, and it continued to be a busted up Hull side? Did you pick up two more significant injuries in the pack in this game, if I'm right?
Yeah, Chris Green and Mark Minichella have both picked up bad injuries.
So with more injuries, what did the young players do? I think how do you pronounce it? Lewis Bienek was the only real youngster, weren't he, that was used in the pack, or Jordan Lane as well off the bench. How's Bienek looking to you? Is he looking like a promising guy for next year and beyond?
He runs hard. He bounces off players into another collision. Sometimes he bounces off his own players and into other collisions. I think he has got potential. My concern is he's 20 at the moment. You know, he's a young kid. He's not Liam Watts and he's not Gareth Ellis, and we still need to be signing someone to replace them.
Someone experienced.
Yeah, I mean, I think Radford's basically decided that Massey and Fash haven't been producing, and therefore he's dropped them and brought Bienek in ahead of them, which I agree with. But we're just so limited. I mean, we've got Bowden out injured, but that's it, really. We are really, really struggling for decent forwards with any sort of go forward and aggression.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's hard as well with players not really having too much left, particularly now after this result, too much left to play for. You're almost definitely not going to make even mathematically, you're close to not making the top four at this stage. Let's talk a bit, though. We need to talk about the Giants, because they won this game, and deservedly so from what I've understood to be the case. That other than Catalans are the neutrals' darlings at the moment, just for the Challenge Cup final. Beyond that, Huddersfield are probably providing the most excitement in that top 8 with the way they've been playing recently. I know you said like some errors contributed to some of the tries. Lee Gaskell's try was still quite fantastic, wasn't it? That the link-up play between himself and Adam O'Brien, those Bradford players with Alex Mellor getting the try before them, those former Bradford players are really coming up good for the Giants. What did you make of the Giants' performance?
They were enthusiastic. They wanted it. I mean, Danny Brough controlled the show. I mean, he's set is he 7th in the Giants' all-time scorers now?
Not the Giants, in the sports.
Oh, in the sport
in this country, yeah. He's got over 1,000 goals kicked in his career, which is a phenomenal effort.
Yeah, and he's only about 9 points off the next person. So, you know, I
believe if he'd have stayed on the pitch, he would have overtaken Pat Richards potentially in the point scoring record.
Right.
So he's very much moving up the chart still and performing well from it sounds like them.
Yeah, so he played well. Jordan Rankin has ever played well against us. Their forwards made yards, and again, this is where we saw the difference. You know, they take a big forward off and they bring another big forward on. We take Taylor off and bring Bienek on or Chris Green on. Yeah,
they've really added something with Matungi. With Matungi, they've really added something by bringing him in, because when Ike Hifo went down, you sort of thought that's going to leave a big hole in that forward pack, but being able to bring Matungi over for the back end of this year addresses that already, and then they've got someone experienced who's just not let them down at all in Paul Clough. He's like an ideal squad man sort of situation for them this year. He's played that role. Also, you talk about the enthusiasm and stuff, and you had big forwards like Akuma Tai backing up wingers right in the last 5 minutes of the game or so to be able to score tries. It is like they're chasing something. They've got enthusiasm and excitement. Maybe did their big forwards lay a platform a bit in the first half that meant they could take advantage of errors in the second half?
Possibly, or I question what was said in the two dressing rooms, you know, because I certainly think that whatever was said in the Huddersfield dressing room gave them that kick and caused them to perform very well in the second half.
He does seem to have got the messages right, does Simon Wolford, and he seems to have got the players kind of relaxed and buying into the brand he's selling.
Yeah. And I think I like the fact that Chris Thorman was the caretaker coach, and then Wolford's come in, but Thorman hasn't disappeared.
Yeah, he's still prominent in that from the sort of the first team coaching setup, definitely.
Yeah, so it has given that consistency still.
Yeah, well, it looks like they had strong performances from across the park and a couple of real highlight reel tries in there as well. The one from
It's got some really nice tries.
The one from Gaskell and the one from Akumatai both look really, really quality tries.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to throw in on the game, on the night, on the atmosphere, the experience?
The cowbell went very quickly, which was nice.
And you ducked behind the stands for the discounted pies just before you left, I understand.
I didn't. A lot of people did.
That is one of the bonuses of the Giants this year. They seem to be ordering on the pies. Okay.
Yeah, we had travelled back from Edinburgh that day, so we went from Edinburgh to Hull to Huddersfield back to Hull again. So yeah. And we'd had McDonald's on the way back from Edinburgh, so I didn't really fancy a pie.
Fair enough, that makes sense. Okay, stats. In what for 40 minutes was a defensive battle, this game had the most tackles made of any game so far in Super League this year, 784. It also had the most attacking kicks put in of any game so far this year, 33. Huddersfield, though, did have the better of the key stats, 250 more metres, over 250 more metres in fact, 7 more clean breaks, fewer errors, fewer penalties, and better team tackle success rate. Individually, Akumatai with a try and 123 metres, Suia Matongi with 41 tackles and 134 metres, so both ways from him. Jerry McGilvray with a try assist, 155 metres. Darnell McIntosh, who continues to impress opposite Jerry McGilvray. He had 7 tackles, 139 metres, 2 clean breaks. In terms of the losing Hull side, there were still some people who were putting some stat-worthy performances. Beretta Ferreira on the wing with a try, 7 tackles, 143 metres, 2 clean breaks, 4 successful offloads. Probably half of those 7 tackles came in the last 3 metres of the try that he scored.
Yeah.
Danny Houghton, 65 tackles. He saw what Liam Watts did last week and said, I'm going to throw down some more. 13 of which were marker tackles. Scotty Taylor always performs, never lets you down, 131 metres. And Mickey Payer is starting prop forward partner with 127 metres. So like you say, it does suggest that possibly you lost too much when they went off, given how much yardage they put in. Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely Pia's best match of the season.
Well, that's something to have.
At this critical period.
Okay, into the final game of the Super League Super 8, and it was played on Saturday evening in the south of France, with the Challenge Cup in the audience, I believe, and it finished Wigan Warriors 35, Catalan Dragons 6. Another side that had 0 at half time were the Catalans. Wigan were 18-0 up at the half, courtesy of a late try in that first half by Morgan Escaray. 6,739 was the disappointingly low crowd, but everyone keeps telling me that no one's in Perpignan, everyone's on holiday.
Right.
Mr. Dolan, what's his first name, was the referee, and I've got to say, I've never seen him on Greg Dolan, I've never seen him on a televised game before, and he wasn't who I expected him to be. So I've definitely never seen him referee a game before, is what I would determine from that. We had one fan view on this one. It's a new name to the fan views, I think, so thanks for getting in touch. Do you want to take us through it, Sarah?
Yep, Stu Heaton 34 said, excellent game, some good tries and good defence, great atmosphere too.
Okay, did you catch any of this one?
I saw some of the second half. I'd watched the Salford Widnes match, and that's it, my in-laws turned up just at the end of the Salford Widnes match, so I then missed the first half of this match.
So you missed the absolutely brilliant Morgan Escaray first try from Sam Tompkins, taking a kick, skirting round the defence in classic old school Tompkins style, just about outrunning Lewis Tierney's diving attempt to tap his heels and then flicking the pass inside to Escaray just as the fullback had committed himself, and it was absolutely spot on. Brilliant try, reminiscent of years gone by, and something that I'm definitely going to miss next year when Sam Tompkins leaves the Wigan Warriors club. But yeah, convincing for Wigan, utterly convincing. Catalan, like Warrington the night before, probably had half an eye on Wembley and not wanting to hurt themselves, so I think that played a role. There was an early injury in this one. Liam Marshall got hurt for Wigan, totally innocuously, done his knee, out for the rest of the year. It's a shame for the kid who's been really great this year. And there might have been a sneak of an opening in the England squad as well, with Ryan Hall being injured and stuff like that. So it's unfortunate for him and his try-scoring exploits. But that might have had the similar effect to the Brown injury on the Friday night game, that the Catalan players might have thought, "Oh, don't want to hurt myself like that."
Yeah.
It's because they definitely lacked intensity. They did score a try through Fuad Yaha, which was a neat try from him. Great kick by Josh Drinkwater, wasn't it, over the top of Tom Davies? A hard man to get it over the top of into such a small space, and Fuad Yaha just dotted it down. But really, outside of that, it was all Wigan. Wigan's key playmakers were very good. Tommy Lulawai very good in defence. Big Tommy was back with his granite shoulders, but Tompkins and Williams both flashed when they needed to. Williams had a try for himself, a really nice try assist on a Joe Greenwood effort as well, and Sam Tompkins kicked well and set up the Escaré first try as well in this game. So pretty comprehensive. Yeah,
it looks like it was, from the bits that we saw.
Wigan are going to miss Sam Tompkins next year. It's really hard to keep talking about it and keep watching him play and keep thinking, we had him under fucking contract next year if we'd have just paid him the same amount we were paying him this year. I don't know why we messed around with it. I know he had aspirations to go elsewhere to try and find a longer term deal for the same sort of money that he's on at the moment, and he wasn't going to get that longer term at Wigan, but it didn't. We could have sorted something out. It just upsets me, Sarah. It just upsets me. But I'm glad that George Williams has confirmed he's going to be staying next year, and he showed a bit of form, didn't he? Great speed and evasion for his own try, as well as setting up a try and a few other flashes.
Yeah, and you do feel a bit for Sam Tompkins. He has been a great Wigan player, hasn't he? He
has, apart from 2 years totally crocked by injuries, one of them reputedly his own doing, which is as much as anything why Wigan wouldn't have been looking in to give him the same money beyond this year. I think if we were talking, if he had this year, last year, there'd be no question marks over it. His option would have been taken up by the club, because how could you not? But the decision was made too early to sort that out.
By Wigan player, I mean like somebody that, not just as a player, but as a person. He's been with the club a long time and things, hasn't he?
He sets the standards. Chris Radlinski did an interview recently, and I'm pretty sure it must be the interview that he did in the Wigan Fan TV's fanzine, The Wigan Way, which you can read. It's got an article written by me about Wigan's golden left edge. But yeah, you can download that for free, so check out Wigan Fan TV and blog or something like that. Just search it, you'll see it, it'll pop up. But anyway, in there he did a Q&A, Chris Radlinski did, with some fan questions, and one of them, I think he mentioned about Sam Tompkins, how he sets the standards for the club, and it's going to be a big miss, his professionalism that he sets. I mean, obviously we've still got Sean O'Loughlin around the club, and I can't expect that the blokes coming in to run the show are going to accept anything less than high standards, but Sam Tompkins is a great example in terms of the standards he sets for himself and the team around him, apart from when he goes out on a night out, maybe after a win. Yeah, well, or before that as well, potentially with his mates in the past. But we will, great in this game though, and Catalans have got a top draw player for next year.
Yeah.
In terms of Wigan's injury situation now, with obviously Joe Burgess was ruled out for the season some time ago when he was having a brilliant start to the campaign. So Marshall came in, has been exceptional, as he has been ever since he stepped on the field in Cherry and White. But now Don Manfredi gets his chance. I talked a little bit last week about his return from injury in the Wigan reserve. He grabbed 2 tries in that game. It's going to be really interesting to see, Sarah, who gets to play on the golden edge for Wigan, because Tom Davies puts in 150 plus metres a game, consistently, puts in so much hard work. Great play setting up the field position that resulted in the George Williams try in this game, amongst other things in the game that he did really, really well. And he just doesn't have the same try reward because the ball doesn't get out to that right-hand side